If it's about love, if it's about justice is waking, justice is rising.
Hey, what's up everybody? This is Austin Haynes with the Waking Justice Project, and this is your daily wake-up call. Here's what the corporatocracy is up to today, September 18th, 2019. You can visit our website at wakingjustice.org for more details. Here are the headlines. An inspiring but sorta baffling new global report about climate change was just released yesterday by the Food and Land Use Coalition. The coalition is a group of scientists from all over the world who work together on climate change research. Their new report explains up to $1 trillion is spent every year to subsidize global agriculture. And they say most of that $1 trillion is used to subsidize meat and dairy consumption for first world consumers. BigMeat&Dairy now uses 83% of all farmland in the world to produce just 18% of the calories we humans consume. It's a leading cause of climate change. And because it's the leading driver of global deforestation, that makes BigMeat&Dairy the leading cause of the mass extinction of species now underway as well. Over the past 40 years, we humans have destroyed half of all wildlife on Earth, and it's now escalating. By 2025, we're on track to destroy 90% of all wildlife on Earth. That's less than 6 years away. When wildlife populations collapse, ecosystems collapse. And when ecosystems collapse, food systems collapse. It's a planetary emergency unlike any in human history. And it's mostly all driven by first world consumers and our collective addiction to meat and dairy foods. As former cattle rancher Howard Lyman said, if you call yourself an environmentalist and you're still eating meat, then you're not an environmentalist. Tough words, but the research proves he's right. The authors of the Food and Land Use report put it slightly different. They say, if we continue our meat and dairy habit, we're just, quote, sleepwalking into a scenario where more and more suffer disease from meat and dairy consumption, and where ultimately climate change will threaten all our lives and all life on Earth. But the authors weren't all doom and gloom. They say we now face a remarkable opportunity, that if we change our eating habits and evolve farming, by 2030, we could get climate change under control, safeguard our wildlife, ensure healthy diets for everyone, and drastically improve food security. And they say we can do all this while reaping a societal return that is over 15 times the related investment. That the costs are less than 0.5% of global GDP and could create new business opportunities worth up to $4.5 trillion a year. We crunched some of their numbers and we think they're right. But then they sort of lost us. After taking our breath away with all that doom and then showing us the promise of such a quick turnaround, the authors conclude that BigMeat&Dairy needs to change their current business models and that government needs to lead the way. That's their call to action, and it seems incredibly naive. For over 30 years, activists have lobbied governments and industry to fix climate change. And over the past 20 years, the UN has hosted meetings each year with governments and industry. They've accomplished little to nothing. Climate change is only getting worse, way worse. As resilience.org reports, every year now it's deja vu. We hear major climate impacts are happening, quote, sooner than expected. Throughout the early 2000s, we had heat waves, not predicted until 2030. Arctic permafrost is now melting at levels not predicted till 2090. Earth is now warming twice as fast as expected. We have got to wake up. The UN and IPCC are controlled by Western nations, and Western nations are now controlled by Western corporations. As the recent Princeton study proved, over the past 40 years, the US has been transformed from a representative democracy to a corporate plutocracy. Bottom line from the Princeton study, over the past 40 years, Americans have had, quote, a near zero, statistically non-significant impact on public policy. And when corporate elites want to stop any new policy, there is a 100% chance they'll get their way. It's what we call the corporatocracy. You can check out our latest report on wakingjustice.org about how the corporatocracy rose to power, how it operates, and how we can all take back our democracy, heal our planet, and save our future. Bottom line, we can't just keep voting and protesting and expect a different result. It's insanity. We have to organize mass strategic boycott to force this corporatocracy to the people's bargaining table. You can visit our website at wakingjustice.org to learn more. We can do this. It's time, y'all. Join us. Peace.
You must be involved in the struggle for freedom and justice.
If it's about love, if it's about justice is waking, justice is rising. Justice is waking, justice is rising. If it's about love, justice is rising. And it ain't just us, it's all of us. Justice is waking, justice is rising. And it ain't just us, it's all of us. If it's about love,
may every soul unite, tend the fire and let old coals relight. I'm a citizen of the world and we fight for the rights of everybody to live a truly free life. Red or yellow, black or white, left or right, gay or straight, human or animal or life. Cause what matters is what is in common. If you know it, stand tall and keep dropping the knowledge.
justice is waking, justice is rising. And it ain't just us, it's all of us. If it's about love.